And nothing like a blissful drive in the country. Ow! Damn it! What the hell is that? Oh, that's a Sherman. No worries. Driver, swing her about. Come on, gunner, wake up, you lazy sod. There we go. Ready, 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 ready. And hit the delete button, gunner. Holy shit, that recoil. Morning everybody and welcome back to another Waffenträger video, and today we're going to be doing another tank review. This review is going to be on the Waffenträger. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I haven't seen any videos on YouTube from the major YouTubers, not from Fly, well, I don't watch Baron anymore, not from Fly, not from Slick, not from Mike Goes Boom, not from Orange Doom. Nobody has done a video on this tank yet, so this is, I think, going to be the first YouTube video on this vehicle. Which makes me even more sorry to say it's a bit shit, in my personal opinion. It isn't particularly mobile. It gets the 88mm KWK 43mm gun, the long 88 that you get on the Tiger II, are battle rating higher. Turret rotation speed is kind of slow. The vertical guidance is alright directly to the front, but if you try and bring the gun barrel down over either of these vision ports, it won't, well, while they're blocked, it won't go down. 10-second reload rate on my current crew level, and then the armor, 20mm on the front of the hull, the front of the turret, and 10mm on the sides. It's wet tissue paper. That is exactly what it is. It is wet tissue paper. The tank only weighs 16.3 tons, but it only has an engine of 124 horsepower. Now, yes, it may get better as the upgrades, you know, come in, but I can't see it getting much better than this. 35 kilometers an hour max speed. I have never been 35 kilometers an hour in this tank. I was driving on Berlin, and the fastest I managed to get on a road on a slight downhill was 33 kilometers an hour. That was on road. On mud, 16, maybe 20 if you're lucky. This thing is not mobile whatsoever. Yeah, so disappointing, I think, is a fairly good term for this vehicle. No, we're not doing that yet. Go back. There we go. Okay, so the shells. These are not the same shells that you get on the Tiger II's gun, I don't think. Panzergranat 3943s, this is armor-piercing cap ballistic cap shells. Muzzle velocity of 1,000 meters per second. These are quite fast shells, although they don't feel fast. You know how the Mouse's shell doesn't feel particularly fast, or the 128mm on the Jagdtiger doesn't feel fast. Same sort of thing with these. You have to elevate more than you'd think you would. This is the only APCBC shell you get for this tank. Next is the APCR, 270mm of penetration at 100 meters, going out to 189mm at 2000 meters. Fairly standard stuff for an APCR shell. Heat shells, practically useless at this tier, so we'll completely ignore those. HE, useless apart from shooting at AA. Yeah, that's about it really. As you can tell, I haven't driven this tank very much. In the time I've been playing it, I got 2 kills, both of which I managed to record for you, so there'll be a lot of editing. The gameplay footage won't be particularly long, because as I said, I don't like driving this thing. I really don't like driving this thing. Right, here we go. Let's dive in. 20mm, 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 fucking hell, 5mm. 10mm, 10mm, at least they gave the drivers a little bit more protection. 20mm on the front of there, 20mm on gun breech. The gun barrel is thicker than the armor. That's insane. I know this looks reasonably well sloped, like the sides of the turret look well sloped. Don't let that fool you. Just don't let it fool you. 10 millimeters. 10 millimeters. Tracks are actually thicker than the fucking armor. 20 millimeters for that bit. Yeah. Yeah. The crew is... well, there's 4 crew, 2 at the front, 2 in the turret, which actually isn't as bad as it sounds. The ammo racks load up on the sides of the hull. No ammo in the turret whatsoever, just the gun breech and the gunner and the loader. I think it's the loader, gunner, and the loader, yeah. Commander sits down here in the front. Don't ask me why, it's completely beyond me. That's unusual. Radiator is up here. Transmission is in the front of the tank. And so is the engine. It looks like something out of a fucking car, that does. That's weird. Some of the ammunition will be on the floor. Oh, the thing is, because you have so little armor, most of the shells I've had fired at me in this thing don't actually explode on impact. Because most of the shells don't seem to detonate inside the tank. It's strange. Either that or people firing APCR at me just because they feel like it, but I find that highly unlikely. Right, so that's it for the garage section of this review. I'll go into some more details about this tank when we get into the gameplay. So thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to subscribe, like or dislike. That's fine as well, and leave a comment down below because it really does help out the channel. Yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Cheers. Well, here we are at the gameplay section. Just a really quick heads up. This is a very short clip, so I'll get this out of the way now. I won't be so much assessing my where I'm going and what I'm doing in these gameplay footage clips in this particular review. I'm going to be explaining the upsides and the downside to the tank and allowing you to make up your own mind about whether you want to research it or not, whilst having this footage in the background as evidence to my points. Fair enough? Splendid. Let's begin. I said in the hangar that this tank has a very low horsepower engine but doesn't weigh a lot. This means that it's incredibly slow. It's taken me 4 minutes to get to this point on Kursk, and I spawned in the spawn below me, not the one to the west. Which means it took me 4 minutes to drive about 300-400 meters. That may be a bit of an exaggeration, but you get the point. It's slow, okay? So yes, it's very slow, not particularly mobile, doesn't rotate very well, and okay, tanks are a mix of 3 things. Well, a balance between 3 things. Mobility, survivability, and firepower. This has the firepower, but it doesn't have either of the other 2. This is normally fine, because the tanks normally have, like for example the Hellcat. It has the firepower, it has the gun, right? This is what I mean. It has the firepower. It has no armor. It's not a particularly high horsepowered engine as such, but it's quite mobile, which means it can move ahead, get into positions, flank enemy tanks. You know, it can hide. This thing can't do that. Because you're so slow and because you're so immobile, you are relegated to sitting at the back of the map with feeble attempts at sniping at the enemy team, which usually would be fine, apart from the fact that for some reason the 88mm gun seems rather low velocity with the KWK 3943 shell in this particular case. I don't know whether it's the shell in question or whether it's the gun. Not a clue, but it doesn't work particularly well from my experience. In this clip I do get 1 kill. I will leave that for when it comes, because it was interesting circumstances to say the least. I want to love this tank. I've said this before with many tanks. I think it looks great. I love the look of it. It looks awesome. And the Germans had quite a lot of Waffenträger designs. These were paper designs. Some of them may have been made in very small numbers as prototypes, but none of them went into full-scale service or production. The E100 Waffenträger in World of Tanks, for example, never fucking existed. But it's a very cool idea. Exactly the same with this thing. But I get the feeling this would have been designed and it wouldn't have been a frontline fighting tank. It wouldn't have been designed for that. It would have been rear cover, maybe. covering the outskirts of in-placed positions, kind of like a Flak 88 gun with tracks on it. That would have made more sense from its, you know, its mobility. That, from that perspective, that's what it seems like to me. Okay, so what else? Well, as I said, the armor, we know it's terrible. It's 10mm everywhere, apart from the front. But it seems to not want to work at all. I mean, like, I've had this thing severely angled, and whatever hits me just goes straight through, because the armor is so thin. I expect this. It's depressing, but I kind of have to admit that that is what's supposed to happen. You can't take hits in this tank, you can't push up to the front in the tank because you're too slow, you can't push ahead and cap, or do anything useful like the Hellcats can. We're about to run into the Comet right now, by the way. Can't do any of that. Comet to my left, I only spot him too late, swing the gun around, fire one shot. That was quite an interesting shot that it penetrated from that angle. Reload rate's coming in, his gunner's going to wake up in a minute. I think he does. Nope. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's look at that, shall we? He penetrated me and only killed my commander. That is astounding. He must have been firing Sabo, because if he had been firing anything that creates a large amount of shrapnel, I'd be dead right now. Or at the very least, I would have been immobilized right then. But I wasn't. I calmly backed up, fired, and killed him. Took 2 shots, but it was worth it. This tank is perfectly fine when things are over-penetrating you, like Sabo, whether it be the fin-stabilized variant or the normal one. Although, you should never face fin-stabilized so long as you get this thing into the right matchmaker. I don't really know what to say, to be honest. I'm trying to decide whether I just want to let the video footage play and thank you all for watching right now, but I don't know. I feel like I owe you more than that. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, in the comments, let's do this. When you get to this section in the video, pause it and tell me this. Will you be trying to research the video given the information that you've been presented by me already? Alright? Okay, that's it really. I'll reply to your comments, of course. That's perfectly fine. Okay. Upgrades. Yes, upgrades. There we go. I did remember. There's always the possibility that this thing may get more mobile with upgrades. Although from my experience, engine upgrades, transmission upgrades normally improve a tank's acceleration, not top speed. The acceleration of this thing isn't the problem. It's the fact that when it gets to its top speed, like I'm doing 16 mile an hour now, 17 kilometers an hour on tarmac. Turned slightly, I went straight down to 6 kilometers an hour. This thing is horrifically slow. And I don't feel like upgrades are going to make too much of a difference to that. I really don't. I don't know what this tank is supposed to do. I don't know how it fits into the meta. It's not a flanker, it's not a tanker. It's a sniper for sure. But you can't get it into those positions. The bit at the beginning, the whole match, that was the only kill I got, by the way, from that clip in the beginning, the kill on the Sherman. The whole game, I flanked all the way around the enemy team on that map. If I had got there 5-6 minutes earlier, if I had been in a Hellcat in other words, there would have been people crossing in front of me to go into the town. I could have get shots at the side of them. That doesn't happen in this tank. You're too slow. You have to plan your movement, your movements and the enemy's movements several steps ahead of them. Otherwise, they'll surprise you, and you don't want to get surprised in this tank. Hell, you want to keep the enemy very much at arm's length, where they'll still penetrate you, but due to the range, they're more likely to miss. I don't see where this tank fits in the meta. Do you? Because I bloody don't. It doesn't seem to fit anywhere. Like I said, it's not a flanker, it's not a tanker. It's too slow to fulfill the sniping role effectively for the type of tank destroyer that it is. I really am at my wit's end with this thing. It'll stay on my lineup at this battle rating, for sure. but I won't be driving it out first. This is a backup tank, as of now. The games that I played in it, by which I mean the 2 or 3 games that I played in it to get this footage, I played the foot. I took the tank out first just because it gave me more time in it. Alright? I thought that way I could get to positions faster and get better kills, and you get the idea. You know, recording stuff. From now on though, now that I've done this review, this tank will probably spend most of its time covering dust, unless it's the last vehicle in my lineup that I can spawn in for, you know, cheap because it's a tank destroyer. From now on, my Tiger will always be come out first at battle rating 5.7. This will never see the light of day unless the shit really hits the fan and I haven't got anything else. Alright? Alright, well, we're nearly done. I'll let the video keep playing. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know this is mainly me moaning, but I need to get the point across about this thing. My opinion. It's my opinion. You're welcome to disagree. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to like, share the video, comment, subscribe, what have you, thank you. It really does help. Or dislike if you didn't. That's fine as well. I'll see you guys on the next Waffenträger video. Cheers.